Hey there, welcome to Off Duty. I'm Wendy Bounds. We're in Midtown Comics in New York City getting all prepped for the Avengers. Now, my producer Marshall, he has insisted on coming with me for this shoot. What's up with that, Marshall?
That's not weird.
Yeah, not weird. Not weird at all. What you checking out over there?
Every toy I ever wanted.
Every toy you ever wanted. We're going to get you a raise.
Yeah,
Marshall, I got to ask something. You got this Avengers comic
Yeah, I'm
book
prepping
here.
up a little bit for the movie.
Why should I care about the Avengers?
Why should you care about the Avengers?
Yeah.
Because it's almost 6 superhero franchises coming together in one.
So one superhero is not enough anymore.
One superhero is not enough anymore.
I feel sorry for Batman.
Even Batman's getting a sidekick this summer. He's getting Catwoman.
Well,
so
that's
kind of
hot.
Like,
That's just hot.
Yeah, well, but so you get Iron Man, you get Hulk, you get Thor, you get Captain America, you get Hawkeye, you get Black Widow, and you get Nick Fury. So that's, what is that, 8?
That's a lot of superheroes.
7? Yeah.
I'm thinking you and
You know, like Tony Stark goatee? Right
yeah, there's a lot going on there.
That's exactly.
So you're going to be going to the Avengers. There's also Cinco de Mayo this weekend.
Yes,
Some people will
exactly.
be drinking.
Some people will be going to the Avengers.
Some people will be doing both. Maybe
Yes.
you and I will be doing both.
Drunken Avengers outing would be kind of
Tequila?
cool, I think. Absolutely.
Who do
Why
we need
not?
for tequila?
Elva Ramirez.
Elva Ramirez.
Welcome to WSJ After Hours. Everyone's familiar with that high-end scotch, but what about tequila? There's a raft of products that are trying to take their place alongside scotch as a sophisticated sipping spirit. We came to the Todd English Food Hall for a primer on how to sip high-end tequila.
Tequila can only be classified as a tequila if it is from Mexico, and more importantly, 5 particular states in Mexico. Now, the high-end tequila is baked in clay ovens, so you get nice baked notes off of the high-end tequila, whereas the lower-end tequila, say the cheap stuff, is actually steamed, and it is usually about 51% agave, 49% something else, which is called the mixed dose, so they usually use molasses. First we'll start off with Milagro. It is a Silver Blanco tequila, meaning it's seen, if any, aging, less than 2 months, but probably not at all. The Milagro gets its agave from the higher elevated parts of Mexico. Usually the notes that you get from that are citrusy, and that's what I'm picking up here. I'm getting some grapefruit. Casa Dragones, totally different smell on this one. Still a lot of citrusy. I'm getting some passion fruit coming out of this. It's very clean. It's dry. The taste, I'm getting some lemon zest. It's a little spicy. It's excellent tequila. Now this one is very, very gentle. I would say probably a little on the tart side. But overall, maybe a little bit of herbalness, herbaceousness. All in all, very good tequila. Reposados are very popular out of the tequilas. They're not too dark and they're not light. They're kind of right in the middle. People go for those a lot. So this one actually has a little more color than the Patron Reposado does, as you can see. So I'm getting some nice texture off of this one. It's very rich. The wood notes are starting to come out of that. I get a little bit of caramel as well. A fantastic tequila. You almost forget you're drinking tequila. It's so smooth. You can absolutely tell that it's been in longer than the Reposado. A lot more wood notes on there as well. The tequila itself is now rounded out. Very, very gentle, very smooth. I'm getting a little bit of coconut even, and a lot of times that does come from the oak itself. It's a medium-bodied tequila. Wow, it's very fruity on the nose. It's so soft on the palate, so rounded. It seems like it should have been in the cask or the oak for over 3 years. It tastes like an extra añejo. You get so much wood off of that too. It's so woody, such a great woody. It's almost like having a nice cigar and eating a slice of lemon pie. The very sweet meringue on top. This is an extra añejo. It's been in the oak for at least 3 years. Judging by the dark color, I would say maybe closer to 4. So the wood is definitely there. It's very profound in this, as well as some ash notes and vanilla. And all of these things come from being in the oak as long as they are. This is very, very spicy. It's very powerful. It's maybe a little bit on the aggressive side, but all in all, my favorite one of the batch here. The extra time that it sees in the oak, it makes the difference. It really rounds the tequila out. Really, you know, it picks up so many different flavors from that oak.
If you have any suggestions, do get in touch. Send me a tweet.
Now we've got the marketing manager for Midtown Comics. I am not making this up, folks. His name is Thor Parker.
That's right.
All right, by birth, yes, this is your
By
name?
birth, I was cursed to work in this industry.
So I'm holding up Thor here. He's in the Avengers. You know, I can see it. You got. Did you grow this just for the movie?
No, he grew that just to look like me, actually.
I can see that. I can see that. And you did see the movie.
I did.
So what'd you think?
It was great. It was fantastic. It had pretty much anything that you know, people that are fans of comics and just big blockbuster movies has. It's all there.
Is it going to send more people into the comic stores, you think?
I think so. Movies like this act kind of like as multi-million-dollar commercials for the comics that they're based on. So whenever a big blockbuster based on a comic hits, we see a lot of people coming into the store wanting to learn more about the characters that were in the movie.
What's your male to female mix here?
You know, it's almost around half and half. There's a lot more women that come into the store than people probably imagine.
And are they more interested in the comics, or are they sort of interested in the paraphernalia around it?
You know, you can't ever peg anything on any one person, so it's an equal mix on that as well.
Who's your favorite character in the Avengers?
In the movie, I would say Captain America comes off the best.
Captain America comes off the best. All right, well, we have music coming up right now with Jim Fusilli. Hey, Marshall, who's he interviewing? Okay, Marshall's a little busy right now. I think he said the Punch Brothers. That sounds like their own group of superheroes. Let's take a listen. Hey, Marshall, come on.
Hey, for the Wall Street Journal, this is Jim Fusilli, and I'm here with members of the Punch Brothers, Chris Thiele and Noam Pekelny. They have a terrific new album, Who's Feeling Young Now? The name Progressive Bluegrass, you know, it doesn't quite do it. Does it do it for you guys? I mean, I guess you're sort of stuck with it now. People call you a progressive bluegrass band.
I think, you know, I think it does as well as anything could. It's not something that we're propagating. It's not a name that we have anything invested in at all. But you know, people have to call things something, and I think it works as well as anything. We at least look like a bluegrass band, and we're happening now.
We're paid like a bluegrass band. But you know, people will use whatever term. I think we're not offended by being called a bluegrass band. I think there might be some traditionalists who might be offended when other people refer to us as a bluegrass band. But I think it has to do with the instrumentation. People are probably now referring to certain bands as bluegrass who may have never heard of Del McCoury or of Bill Monroe, and bluegrass is becoming a very wide-ranging term.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the fantasy of Bill Monroe coming to hear you guys. I mean, what do you think he would think of you?
Oh boy.
I don't know if I could assume. I could assume that he would maybe be entertained.
I hope he would be entertained. My suspicion is that he would find it to be no part of nothing, like he found, for instance, Newgrass Revival before us. But I do think the irony of that is, you know, Bill was fiercely protective. My understanding, at least, I met him a couple times and played for him a couple times. Both times, you know, I was quite young, so he just said, "That's nice, boy," and handed me a quarter. Seriously, but he was fiercely protective of the music that he created. But he, you know, himself was quite the innovator. You know, obviously he wasn't carrying on a tradition. He was inventing one, and I think he sought to he wanted it to carry on, and I think he wanted it to carry on in a fashion that he was comfortable with, which is how he did it.
Yeah, I think some of those quotes, there's this infamous quote of him hearing that it was the Newgrass Revival and saying it's no part of nothing. I think a lot of that may have been in jest, and I think with guys like Bill Monroe and Earl Scruggs, the two main architects of bluegrass music, they were creating something completely new.
And what I find interesting about your music, and it's probably hard for you to comment on this. Maybe you can talk about the members who are not here, okay? But, and let's look at the new album. These are not simple tunes that you've written for yourselves. These are complicated tunes. Some of them feel like interconnecting suites, and they're very demanding for you. And I think any serious musician would recognize that. Do you set up these kind of challenges for yourself? I mean,
well, I think you want to challenge yourself, even as you want to satisfy yourself. And I think the five of us are most interested in the kind of satisfaction that's surprising, and that that's rarely going to come from things that just sort of roll off the tongue, as it were. But at the same time, we've fallen into the trap of sort of challenging ourselves to the point of kind of excluding people or alienating people. And I think oftentimes we'll have an idea, as a collective, and start to develop the idea to the point where what was special about it is sort of lost in a pea soup fog of other ideas. And on this record we tried to simultaneously challenge and satisfy not only us but our audience. If you're going to make an appeal to the head, you have to simultaneously be making an appeal to the heart and to the gut. And you want music that sounds or that feels as good or that dances as well as it thinks. And on this record, I think we were trying to shift the balance a little bit towards the more visceral, the more communal.
Marshall, you a mama's boy?
Why would you ask me that? Look what I'm carrying. Seriously, in a comic book store.
Marshall, have
Yes.
you ordered your mom flowers for Mother's Day?
No, but I've thought about it. But I'm here, I'm looking at toys, so it's
Iron
just,
Man would not forget his
I don't
mom
think his
on
mom's
Mother's Day.
alive, so maybe you're not in a place
You're
to say
such
that.
a geek.
Yes, so
You know that about Iron
tease
Man.
your story.
All right, I'm going to tease my story. Kelli Grant, she has been out on the scene shopping for flowers online. What will get there on time? What won't? Let's take a look.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's take a
Let's
look.
do that.
Let's
Let's take a look, Wendy.
Flowers are the top Mother's Day gift according to the National Retail Federation, but when you order online, sometimes you're getting flowers that are shipped to your mom rather than delivered via a local florist. And of course, what you see online isn't necessarily what you get in person. If you're ordering something from a local florist, well, then that really just depends on how good your local florist is. So we ordered from 5 of the top mail order sites just to see if what we got was anywhere near what we ordered. So let's see what they have sent us. Smaller than I thought it would be, though. Looks like a kind of pretty small bouquet, right?
Let's see what it looks like underneath the plastic and paper.
It's definitely secure for sure.
You need to get some foliage from the garden to
round that out. I don't even know how that would. I mean, you could cut the stems, but I don't know how that's going to look good in a vase, and it's certainly not like this is what it's supposed to look like. Does that look like what that looks like to you?
No, I mean even if they were in full bloom,
yeah, there's no
close
way
to that.
They do warn you on this one that these are going to arrive closed, so it's not going to be.
I prefer that.
So mom's not necessarily getting, you can see already, like very, very green bouquet.
That's much smarter.
This for somebody would probably work pretty nicely if you were ordering it and you got it kind of early next week, so that way by the time Mother's Day rolls around, that all of this is open. Already, I mean, I can smell it's pretty pretty frightening. I'm not quite
nice.
sure. I guess it's partially like the lilies. I think there's like some eucalyptus in here too, it smells like.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what this looks like in
A couple of days maybe.
to come.
This is another $50 bouquet.
$50.
$50, and it's supposed to have in it some pink and yellow tulips, some iris, and some Asiatic lilies, and a few other extras.
Vase as well.
Get that.
It's not very
finessing.
exciting with the greenery. I mean, the second was far more exciting with the pieces of.
But this is
Filler.
another one where I think, you know, it's got some potential down the line, that you get some nice color, at least starting off here, and you can tell like these two are about to open. These look like they're not very far along at all, but if you took good care of it, they probably would open.
Generous enough bunch, but it's not very exciting.
And this is supposed to be a vibrant mix of sunflowers, roses, alstroemeria, and more.
Vibrant mix.
And more.
It's a big promise.
Well, it's got a nice. It's pretty vibrant. It's the most colorful one we've opened yet, for sure.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a pretty good scent to it. Certainly, it's the most colorful arrangement that we've gotten so far. Looks like a few things here in need of a little water to perk up, but
Right, this poor sunflower.
I think he's a little crushed by the box.
Right.
Maybe he'll be okay. This is supposed to be a bouquet of bright colored roses. Ooh, and that one actually, look at that, came with water on the end. It's like kind of like a nice little water balloon extra gift.
That shows that they care.
It's also got these nice little flower protectors too.
That's what the other one should have had for the sunflowers. So you just pull them off like this. I love that they did that.
So it's definitely, I mean, they said it's a bright bouquet, and I would definitely say that's truth in advertising. The only critique I would have about this guy, it reminds me a little bit of a supermarket bouquet. Not, like, because there's so many of these, I don't know, I would call them like filler flowers, where, you know, I mean, like the green guys, whatever they are pretty interesting. You got some nice roses in here, but it's largely carnations and daisies.
They're not the most expensive.
So if you want a bouquet that tells mom how much you really love her, the important advice here is to be choosy. Shop around to see what you're going to get for your money. Make sure that you take those pictures with a grain of salt, and maybe talk to your local florist to see what they might be able to do for the same amount as you might pay online. Marshall.
Yes, Wendy?
Time to book in the show.
Why, yes, it is, Wendy.
And here's Kelsey Hubbard talking about salsa. G.I. Joe, where's G.I. Jane? Cinco de Mayo is the perfect opportunity to gather with friends and family and eat some great Mexican food. Chef Julian Medina of Toloache restaurant in New York City shows his take on two Mexican classics, salsa verde and quesadillas.
We're gonna start here with green tomatillos. Very Mexican, you know, the salsas are good, made of green tomatillos. If you don't find green tomatillos, you can use regular tomatoes.
Okay.
So,
and what is the taste of those if people aren't familiar with them as it compares to a tomato?
Well, tomatillos are a little tangier. They have a little bit more of acidity. So we're gonna cut a couple of them so I can run it through my blender. I'll use also half of a Spanish onion and 3, garlic cloves. I have here chile serranos. You can use jalapenos. These are very traditional for salsas in Mexico. We're gonna put a little bit of water so the blender can go through, and some salt. This salsa, it takes a lot of cilantro, and if it's too spicy, if I put 1 chili more, your cilantro is gonna mellow it down too.
That's good
That's
to know.
a good trick.
Okay.
So now, my special trick here, just to make the salsa smoother, I have avocado. A ripe avocado that I'm gonna cut through.
Now I'm going to stop you right there
Yes.
first. How do we tell if an avocado is ripe?
Okay.
That's one of the hardest things. I never know what to do.
That's always a problem. This is the perfect avocado, just basically that you can find at the store. You know, it's soft, but it's not too hard, and it's not too soft. You have this black pelvic skin. That's when you want your avocado just to pick it up and eat it at the store. Eat it right at home. And then we're just gonna kind of flip it here.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what you want. Just kind of like give it a hack and twist it.
Now, another great Mexican dish that so many people love is the quesadilla. So show us how we can make those at home as well if we're thinking about a Cinco de Mayo celebration.
We're gonna start with some Mexican cheese. It's like a manchego cheese, very similar to like Monterey Jack, cheddar cheese. You can use anything you like. This is already shredded. Now here at Toloache we make it with chicken. You can use steak, you can use shrimp, you can use anything you like. So this chicken is already roasted and shredded, and we kind of marinate it with a little bit of chipotle, which is a smoked jalapeno that comes in a can.
Okay.
Can, very simple. Then I'm just gonna cover, and we're gonna transfer to our griddle.
Okay. So if you have a pan at home and not cooking it on a griddle, you wouldn't put any oil or anything in ahead of time?
No, you just put it straight in the non-stick pan, and that would be great. So, look, that's what you need. A really nice and crispy tortilla. So usually, look, you see when you pull out the tortilla on the top and it just gets a stick.
Right.
Look, that means that your quesadilla is almost done.
Almost done, yeah.
You see? All right, so I think we're ready to take our quesadilla. Look, this beautiful, perfect. Just top it up with the simple pico de gallo, diced tomatoes, onions, and cilantro.
So I noticed you didn't put the pico de gallo in before you cooked it inside the quesadilla. Why is that?
I don't want the tortilla just to be soggy when I'm griddling it, you know? So I don't want my tortilla to break down
The
apart.
tomatoes have the water in
Yes,
them,
it
and
has
that
a lot of
runs
water, and when they heat up, they release the waters. And then these are little serranos that they've been seared and then they've been pickled.
And tell me about Cinco de Mayo in Mexico. Is it a big holiday there?
Well, it's a holiday, yes, but it's not that we celebrate it here. I think most of the immigrants came from Puebla here to New York, and that's why Cinco de Mayo is a huge celebration here.
Let's take the taste. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to take a taste.
I always like to serve this right after the griddle, so it's just nice and crispy still. And you know, and just cool it down with the pico de gallo.
And again, I'm just amazed at how little time it really took to put it all together when you think about it. Because when people think about entertaining or having people over, they don't want to make dishes that are very complicated and they're going to spend the whole time in the kitchen. So these are really easy to do and you don't have to spend a lot of time cooking.
Yeah.
I've swiped Marshall's Avengers magazine here. He has gotten me convinced. Oh, don't worry, Marshall. I'm going to give it back. That's it for today's WSJ Off Duty. Whether you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo or watching the Avengers or the Kentucky Derby, it is going to be a great weekend. Well, except for you, Spidey. You're out of luck. I'm Wendy Bounds. See you guys next week.